The elevator doors close. It is just you and a coworker you barely know. You look at the floor. You look at the ceiling. The silence is getting heavy.
And then your brain panics, and you say the only thing you can think of. It is hot today.
They nod slowly. They say, "Yes, very hot."
And then, nothing. Just 20 floors of terrible, painful silence, while you both watch the floor numbers slowly change.
That silence is universally painful. I'm Rose, and welcome to Speak English Naturally.
And I'm Jack. Today we are putting English into a real situation, not a perfect classroom. We are tackling the most common yet most dangerous conversation starter in the world, the weather.
Speak English naturally. Jack, why do we always talk about the weather? It is literally happening to both of us at the same time. We both know it is hot. Why do we say it out loud?
Because it is the ultimate safe topic. You do not want to ask a stranger about their personal life, their politics, or their bank account. The weather is neutral territory. It is a shared experience.
But it is also a trap. Because if you only state a fact, like, it is raining, the other person can only say, yes, it is. And then the conversation dies immediately.
Exactly. And that is the problem English learners face. You know the words hot, cold, rain, and sunny. But you do not know how to turn those words into an actual conversation. You get stuck at, it is hot.
I have been there so many times. You say your one sentence and then your brain goes completely blank. You want to run away.
Today we are going to fix that. We are going to show you how to survive weather small talk without sounding boring and without creating those awkward silences.
Let's jump right into a situation. We are going to do a quick role play.
The setting is the office kitchen. We are waiting for the coffee machine to finish brewing. It takes about 2 minutes. 2 whole minutes of forced conversation.
The worst kind of pressure. Let's do the bad version first. The version where the conversation crashes and burns. I will be the one trying to start the conversation.
I am ready to be very unhelpful. Let's go.
Hi, Jack.
Oh, hey, Rose. Morning.
Morning. Waiting for coffee?
Yeah, just waiting for the machine.
It is very hot today.
Yeah, really hot.
Yes, the sun is very strong.
It is.
Summer is hot.
Yep, definitely summer.
Okay, well,
And scene. That was physically painful to participate in.
I felt my soul leaving my body. I said, summer is hot. Why did I say that? Of course summer is hot.
Because you panicked. You ran out of things to say about the heat, so you just started stating obvious facts.
And the problem was, I left you with nowhere to go. When I say, it is very hot today, you can only agree with me. You cannot argue with the weather.
Right. Small talk is like playing tennis. You have to hit the ball over the net in a way that allows the other person to hit it back. Stating a fact is like throwing the tennis ball onto the ground. The game stops.
So, how do we fix it? How do we talk about this hot weather without just saying, it is hot, 3 different ways?
We use something I call the weather plus 1 strategy.
Weather plus 1. I like the sound of that. What is the 1?
The 1 is an extra piece of information that invites a response. It can be a personal feeling, an observation, or a question. Instead of just stating the weather, you state the weather and you add a hook.
Okay, give me an example of adding a personal feeling.
Instead of saying, "It is so hot today," you say, It is so hot today. I am melting just walking to the car.
Ah, I see. You added a visual. I am melting. Now I have something to react to. I can say, me too, the air conditioning in my car is broken.
Exactly. The ball is back over the net. Let's try another one. What is a good weather plus one using an observation?
How about, it's beautiful outside today. Perfect weather for an iced coffee.
Yes, that is a great one. You stated the weather. It's beautiful. And you added an observation about iced coffee. Now, what can I say back to that?
You could say, oh, absolutely, I had one this morning. Or, actually, I still drink hot coffee in the summer. Either way, we are having a real conversation now. We are no longer just reporting the weather.
Let's do the third type, weather plus a question. This is the most powerful tool for keeping a conversation alive.
This is when you pivot the conversation away from the weather as fast as possible.
Right. You use the weather as a bridge to a better topic. For example, it is supposed to be really nice this weekend. Do you have any plans to be outside?
Oh, that is smooth. You acknowledge the weather, but you immediately ask about their weekend. People love talking about their weekends.
Let's put this into practice. Let's replay the coffee machine scenario. But this time, Rose, you are going to use the weather plus one strategy.
I am ready. I am armed with my extra pieces of information. No more, summer is hot.
Let's see how it goes.
Hi, Jack.
Oh, hey, Rose. Morning.
Morning. Waiting for the coffee?
Yeah, just waiting for the machine. It is taking forever today.
I know, right? Good thing we are inside. It is absolutely boiling out there today. I felt like I was walking through an oven.
Seriously, it is brutal. I walked 5 minutes from the train station and I was already regretting my life choices.
Right? I think it is the humidity. It's supposed to stay like this all week, unfortunately.
Ugh, do not tell me that. I was hoping it would cool down.
Well, it makes a great excuse to stay inside with the air conditioning. Are you mostly working from the office this week or at home?
Actually, I'm working from home on Thursday and Friday, which is going to be a lifesaver. What about you?
And scene. That was a million times better.
Notice how naturally we moved from the weather to working from home. The conversation feels alive.
Let's break down what happened there. I didn't just say, it is hot. I said, it is absolutely boiling out there today.
Boiling is a great word. It means extremely hot, like water bubbling on a stove. It is much more descriptive than just saying hot.
And then I added my +1. I felt like I was walking through an oven. It is a slight exaggeration, but it is relatable. It gives you something to react to.
And I reacted by agreeing and sharing my own tiny struggle. I walked 5 minutes and I was regretting my life choices. This is how people actually bond. We bond over minor discomforts.
Yes, complaining about the weather together is a universal love language.
It really is. Then you used another great phrase. It's supposed to stay like this all week.
It is supposed to. This is such an important structure for weather. You are not a meteorologist. You do not know for sure. You are just sharing what you heard on the forecast. It's supposed to rain later. It's supposed to get colder tomorrow.
It is a great conversational bridge. And then, the masterstroke. You made the pivot. You said, well, it makes a great excuse to stay inside. Are you mostly working from the office this week?
The pivot is the exit strategy. You talk about the weather just long enough to prove you are friendly, and then you switch to a real topic.
Let's look at a different kind of weather. Let's talk about bad weather. Rain, wind, cold. How do we handle small talk when the weather is terrible?
Bad weather is actually easier to talk about than good weather. Good weather is boring. Bad weather is a shared enemy.
That is true. If it is pouring rain outside, everyone in the office has a story about their umbrella breaking or their shoes getting wet.
The phrase I use the most when the weather is bad is simply, "Did you stay dry?"
That is a perfect weather plus one question. You walk into a meeting room, people are shaking off their umbrellas, and you ask, "Wow, it is really coming down out there. Did you stay dry?"
It is really coming down. That means it is raining heavily. We almost never say it is raining heavily in casual conversation. We say it's pouring or it's really coming down.
Let's do a quick role play for terrible weather. We are in a Zoom meeting waiting for the boss to join. There are just two of us, and there is an awkward silence.
Zoom silences are worse than elevator silences. I am ready.
Let's go.
So, I guess we are just waiting for Sarah to join.
Yeah, she messaged me. She is running a couple of minutes late.
Okay, no problem. Is it raining where you are? It just started pouring over here.
Oh, really? No, it's just really dark and cloudy here. Looks like it's going to storm, though.
Yeah, the sky suddenly turned black. I'm just glad I don't have to commute in this.
Oh, absolutely. I'll take working from home over driving in a storm any day. Although my dog is terrified of thunder, so that might be an issue later.
Oh no, poor thing. Does he hide under the bed?
And scene. Look at that. We went from a boring Zoom wait to talking about my dog hiding under the bed.
It was completely natural. The weather was just the door we walked through to get to a better conversation.
Let's pull out a really useful phrase from that scene. Rose, you said, "I'm just glad I don't have to commute in this."
I'm just glad I don't have to. This is a fantastic pattern. You take a bad weather situation and find a tiny positive thing.
For example, it is freezing outside, but I am just glad I remembered my gloves today. Or, it is raining, but I am just glad I am inside with a coffee.
It shows you have a positive attitude, which makes people want to talk to you more.
And my response was, "I'll take working from home over driving in a storm any day."
I'll take X over Y any day. This is a native speaker's secret weapon. You are expressing a strong preference.
I'll take this heat over the freezing cold any day. I'll take a rainy Sunday over a busy Monday any day. It is a very natural way to state your opinion without starting an argument.
What happens if someone asks you about the weather? Let's say someone uses the weather plus one on you. How do you respond without killing the conversation?
That is a great question. Let's say someone says, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" If you just say, "Yes," the conversation dies.
So you have to apply the same rule. You agree, and then you add your own plus one.
Exactly. "Beautiful day, isn't it?" You reply, "Absolutely. I cannot wait to get outside later. Are you doing anything fun today?"
You bounce the ball right back.
What if you do not care about the weather? What if you have no strong feelings?
You can still use a filler phrase that sounds natural. A classic one is, "I can't complain."
I can't complain. That means everything is generally fine.
Nice weather we are having. Yeah, I can't complain. At least it's not raining.
At least. That is another magic phrase. It shifts the perspective to a positive angle. It is cold, but at least the sun is out.
It is raining, but at least we need the water for the plants. People say that all the time.
They do. It is the ultimate dad joke of weather small talk.
The main takeaway here is that weather is just a warm-up. You are not actually discussing meteorology. You are just saying, I acknowledge you, I am friendly, and I am open to talking.
Let's review the framework one more time so it sticks.
The framework is the weather plus one.
Step 1. Acknowledge the weather using a descriptive word, not just hot or cold. Use boiling, freezing, pouring, or gorgeous.
Step 2. Add the plus one. This can be a personal observation, a feeling, or a question about their plans.
Step 3. Pivot. Move the conversation away from the sky and toward the person. Ask about their weekend, their commute, their coffee, or their dog.
This completely changes how you feel in those awkward elevator moments. You are no longer trapped. You have a plan.
I want to pull out the specific lines that really saved those conversations. Let's do a quick replay of the best phrases.
I love this part. These are the sentences you want to keep in your back pocket for your next coffee break or Zoom meeting.
The first phrase is when you want to agree about terrible weather, but keep it light. The line is, "It's really coming down out there."
We use this instead of saying, "It is raining very hard." It sounds much more natural and conversational.
For example, you walk into a shop shaking your umbrella. You look at the cashier and say, "Wow, it's really coming down out there."
Try this line with us. Say it out loud. It's really coming down out there.
It's really coming down out there.
The second phrase is perfect for when you want to pivot the conversation to future plans. The line is, "It's supposed to stay like this."
You can use this for good or bad weather. It is a great way to introduce the forecast without sounding like a news anchor.
For example, "It's supposed to stay like this all weekend. Do you have any plans?"
Try this line with us. It's supposed to stay like this.
It's supposed to stay like this.
Phrase number 3 is your secret weapon for stating a preference. The line is, "I'll take this over the rain any day."
You can swap the words depending on the situation. I'll take the heat over the cold any day. It is a very natural way to express an opinion.
For example, someone complains about the hot sun. You reply, "Yeah, it's hot, but I'll take this over the freezing snow any day."
Try this line with us. I'll take this over the rain any day.
I'll take this over the rain any day.
Phrase number 4 is a great way to find a positive angle. The line is, "Well, it makes a great excuse to..."
This is fantastic when the weather ruins your plans, but you want to stay positive.
For example, "It's raining all day, but it makes a great excuse to stay inside and watch movies."
Try this line with us. Well, it makes a great excuse to stay inside.
Well, it makes a great excuse to stay inside.
And the final phrase is for when the weather is perfectly fine and you just want to sound friendly. The line is, "I can't complain."
It is short, easy, and fits almost anywhere. How are you liking this weather? I can't complain. At least the sun is out.
Try this line with us. I can't complain.
I can't complain. So today, we took the most boring topic in the world, the weather, and we gave it an upgrade.
You do not have to freeze when someone says, "It's hot today." You just need to add your +1 and bounce the conversational ball back over the net.
Your small practical challenge for today is this. The next time someone mentions the weather to you, do not just say yes. Reply with the weather and add one small question about their day.
Just try it once. Notice how the conversation stays alive instead of dying in an awkward silence.
And tell us in the comments, what is your favorite weather and what is your excuse when it happens? For example, I love rainy days because it's a perfect excuse to drink too much coffee.
I will be reading those. If this episode helped you feel a little more prepared for small talk, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with another English learner who hates elevator silences.
And in the next episode, we are tackling a nightmare scenario. What do you do when you are talking to someone and you suddenly realize you have completely forgotten their name?
Oh, that is the ultimate brain freeze. My palms are sweating just thinking about it.
It happens to everyone, and there is a polite, natural way to survive it in English.
Keep your English natural, useful, and alive. I'm Jack.
And I'm Rose. See you in the next conversation.